Mobile Europe is here at Wembley in North London at the Gigabit LTE experience with EE, Qualcomm and Sony. I have Howard Jones from EE with me.
Hi, James.
Hi. Howard, I wonder if we can start by talking about what Gigabit LTE means to EE specifically and how important it is for EE to be the first to market with this in the UK.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for us, it's part of a continued evolution of our 4G story. You know, we launched nearly 5 years ago. We launched with just 10 megahertz of spectrum on 1800. Look where we are now. You know, we're deploying everything we've got. We're delivering speeds, real-world speeds above 400 megabits per second for our customers. It's a gig in lab. There's over 400 in the real world for customers, and that's enormous from a change perspective. And it really is just about continuing to evolve that 4G story.
And in terms of this Gigabit LTE, what are the real world speeds we're looking at here?
So what we've demonstrated in the lab, perfect conditions, theoretical maximum, 979 megabits per second. In the real world, we've been out there, Cardiff city centre, 428 megabits per second. You compare that to what's available from a broadband perspective and you start to understand just how phenomenal that is. And that's a real world experience. Really what we think we're going to see across the base, if we can get those users to be getting 50 to 100 megabits per second consistently, that's the kind of throughput that will really change behaviour.
But it's not just about speed, is it? It's about the network efficiency. How else will consumers experience this?
Absolutely. So with us evolving the capability of the network and introducing devices that are more efficient, it actually has a benefit for every user on the network. In the simplest possible terms, the quicker I can give a customer the resource that they want and get them off the network, the more radio there is to share amongst everybody else. So as devices evolve and the networks evolve, every customer benefits.
And can you talk about, you know, in terms of consumer and business applications, what this means?
Well, this exciting thing for us, I guess, is that we just don't know what the applications of the future are. What's an application that's going to need 600-700 megabits per second? That doesn't exist yet. We don't know what that's going to look like. But one thing we've seen with the evolution of 4G and the evolution of device capability is that it's creating a new environment for app developers, software developers to build new things. So they're building to now what the network capability is. So I think we'll see some really exciting things coming through in the next few years. In terms of what's going to drive usage, we really think it's about the immersive experience of mobile, and that's VR and AR. They're the two things that are going to be throughput intensive, require really low latency, and really they're the ones that are going to be consumer facing, consumer friendly, and that's really where the drive is going to come from.
And this is live now, but clearly there's an ambitious rollout plan for this. I wonder if you can talk about that in terms of the network, the locations, and also the devices.
Absolutely. So right now we've got sites covering Cardiff and we've got sites covering London's Tech City. And we're going to roll it out across London. We're going to roll it out to more cities, so Birmingham, Manchester, Edinburgh, for instance. We're going to take this technology to where there is the demand, and demand comes from high density, highly populated areas. And that's really the rollout plan from this technology.
And what does it mean if you're in the countryside, you know, without this, or if you're in the city and you don't have access to these very premium devices?
So if you're in the city, to come back to the benefit of new network technologies, new device technologies, the faster the peak speed for any one customer, the higher the average speed, the better the experience for every customer. So everybody in a densely populated urban area benefits from this investment. In a rural area, we might not have as much spectrum, but there are far less people demanding of something of the network. So actually, you're on a ratio basis, you're getting the same experience in those parts of the country.
And how will you communicate to your users and draw new customers in with this?
Yeah, of course. So you know, our thing has been speed. Our thing has been network performance, network capability. You know, biggest and fastest 4G network in the UK. It's about changing the way you use your mobile because we're giving you an amazing mobile phone network that can do amazing things. We'll continue to push away at that. Will we get into talking to customers about spectrum, about the benefits of 1800 and 2.6 gigahertz? No, we won't. But if we can have customers clearly understand that faster is better, then the job is done to some extent.
And what about of today? I mean, this is clearly it's you know, an engineering feat in itself to bring this off. Can you talk about what you've done today here at Wembley?
Absolutely. So today at Wembley, what we've got lined up in the network, we've got 20 megahertz of 1800 spectrum, we've got 35 megahertz of 2.6 gigahertz spectrum, and we've also got 4x4 MIMO, 256 cloud. That's the combination of things that delivers the amazing speed, 750 megabits per second, the amazing speeds we've seen here today. Actually, from a spectrum perspective, that's the same as in the whole of Wembley Stadium. But there we haven't applied that MIMO technology because we don't yet know if that's applicable to such a highly densely populated area.
Howard, thank you very much.
Thank you.